The Nature Conservancy's Ramsey Canyon Preserve is an awesome place, a haven for hikers, hummingbirds, and other creatures. And today I'm going to show you 6 hikes that start right here. Nature trails in the preserve. Hamburg Trail to the Overlook and various other trail junctions. The Ramsey Canyon Brown Canyon Loop, Comfort Spring Trail, the Hamburg Trail up to Bear Saddle, and finally the Pat Scott Trail to the Crest Trail. To get to the preserve, head south from Sierra Vista on State Route 92 and turn west onto Ramsey Canyon Road. When the road ends in 3.5 miles, you'll be at the preserve. Pay the entry fee, check out the visitor center, and head out for the first hike, which is along the 1.5 miles or so of nature trails within the preserve. It's the easiest hike of the 6. The canyon is named after Gardner Ramsey, who came into the area in the 1880s. He built a road that started at what's now the preserve headquarters and extended it 2.5 miles up the canyon to the Hamburg mine. The mine never produced much of any value, and mining ended in 1931. Eventually, the land was owned by Dr. Bledsoe, and in 1974, he bequeathed it to the Nature Conservancy. Today, the preserve is known as one of the best places in the U.S. to see hummingbirds. An important thing to keep in mind is that this lower section of Ramsey Canyon is private property. It belongs to the Nature Conservancy. There's an entrance fee, the parking lot opens and closes at certain times, dogs aren't allowed in the preserve, and we're asked to stay on the paths so that nature isn't trampled by our footsteps. If you're so inclined, the preserve is a great place to volunteer. Their website has all the information you need to get involved. Hike number 2 in Ramsey Canyon is to come up to the Hamburg Trail sign and head on up. There are 9 benches along the way until the point that you leave the preserve and enter Miller Peak Wilderness. It's about 1 mile from the visitor center to the Overlook and about 900 feet in elevation gain, so it's a pretty steep trail. There used to be a sign here that said Overlook, but it's long gone. From the Overlook, there are nice views up into Ramsey Canyon. The 3rd hike is the Ramsey Canyon Brown Canyon Loop. To do this loop, continue along Hamburg Trail past the Overlook for about 1/2 mile until you get to the Brown Canyon Trail junction. Then you'll hike the Brown Canyon Trail about 2.5 miles to a water trough. At the water trough, you'll head right, which puts you on Brown Canyon Road. This dirt road will take you back to Ramsey Canyon Road, at which point you'll walk 1 mile or so along the asphalt back up to the preserve. All in all, that's about a 7-mile round trip with approximately 1,700 feet of elevation gain. A 4th hike is the Comfort Spring Trail. For that hike, don't turn onto Brown Canyon Trail. Instead, continue up Hamburg Trail, and in less than 1 mile, you'll see the Comfort Spring Trail on your left. The trail then goes 2.5 miles across to the Ramsey Vista campground at the top of Carr Canyon Road. Overall, the route is almost 10 miles round trip with 2,500 feet of elevation gain. Now for the 5th hike, which is the full distance of the Hamburg Trail from the visitor center all the way to the Crest Trail. What you'll do is simply continue on the Hamburg Trail another 1/10 of a mile or so past where you could have turned onto the Comfort Spring Trail until you see a well-marked fork. The left fork will be the Hamburg Trail that will take you all the way up to Bear Saddle and the Crest Trail. From the preserve, it's 4 miles up there in total, so it's about 8 miles round trip and 2,500 feet of gain. And for the 6th hike, at that fork that I just mentioned, where the Hamburg Trail goes off to the left, what you'll do is take the right fork, and that turns into Pat Scott Canyon Trail. And Pat Scott Canyon Trail is about 5 miles up to the Crest Trail from the visitor center. 10 miles round trip, and it's 3,000 feet of elevation gain. And by the way, if you want a bonus 7th hike, you can see that once you get to Bear Saddle, You can make a loop hike by heading 2 miles along the Crest Trail over to the top of Pat Canyon Trail. That's an 11 to 12 mile loop with just over 3,000 feet of elevation gain. So there you have it, 6 hikes, or 7, however you look at it, that start in Ramsey Canyon Preserve, ranging from a mile of walking along nature trails in the preserve to a very steep 12-mile loop hike. Hopefully what I've showed you will make it easier for you to find the various trails in Ramsey Canyon. If it did, and you're interested in other hikes in the Huachucas, click the link above or check out one of the playlists on my channel. You'll definitely find a hike that matches up with what you're looking for. And I'll see you on the next hike.